What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Also want to say welcome to all the new subscribers that subscribe to the channel. Today, as the title say, we're going to be deleting the electric booster and going with a traditional vacuum style booster. Let's jump right into the video. Check out the turbo. Oh shit. Yeah, so let's jump right into the video. So I already got the booster out. Pretty simple. 4 brake lines here that goes into the booster, and then the 4 nuts from inside the car by the brake pedal. Take those off, take off the little pin that goes to the brake pedal, and that's it. The booster just slides right out. So let me go ahead and show you guys what I'm going to be replacing that with. Alright, so I have the booster here. This is the factory one. Again, as I was saying, it's one line here, one line here, one here, and one here, 4 lines. And then these 4 nuts inside the car, remove those. You have this, has a pin that goes to the brake pedal, remove that, and the booster comes out. Pretty simple. That shouldn't take any more than like 15 minutes to get that out. What we have here is the replacement. So we have a traditional style vacuum booster with a master cylinder. This is from a Toyota Avalon, same as the Camry and the Solara. Also the ES300 uses the same thing. Parts and links will be in the description for everything that I'm going to use. Besides making modification to the brake lines, because you do have to modify the brake lines now to go to this, also have to add a proportioning valve. You don't have to, but from what I've been reading and what I've been seeing, these masters tend to push out a lot of pressure, so it could lock up the rear brake. So you know you're going to want to add a proportioning valve also. So besides making adjustments to the line, one other adjustment has to be made is to the pin for the brake pedal. On this one, I'll drop a picture. When it was on the car, from the base here to the end of here was 6 inches. I'll drop a picture now of the measurement. With this one, without having any modification, it was a tad bit too short in mine. It was probably about, I want to say maybe 3/8 to a ½ inch, maybe 3/8, a little bit too short. So what I did, I welded a nut onto it. So now the nut screws into here and it gives me the extra measurement I need. This, actually Danny, the Zuper channel, he did his GS, and from watching his car, I figured, watching his video, I figured out I have to do this. So shout out to him. He also sent me some pictures of when he did his. So shout out to him for this. Again, it screws into the nut and it gives me the extra measurement that I need. So in my case, screwing that in and dropping this here, it's right there. It's pretty much perfect. From the base to the end of here is 6 inches, so it should line up exactly to where this one was. And that's going to help with pedal travel and also your brake switch. You don't have to really modify your brake switch any additional. So yeah, this is the 2 units here. Size difference, obviously this one is way bigger. This one got the reservoir, it got the master, it got the accumulator, it got the pump under here. It has a whole lot of stuff going on. These tend to fail. This one wasn't really giving any issues, being that I'm on standalone. There's no signal going to this for wheel speed and stuff like that. So the traction control, the ABS, none of that was working. So I'm just gonna go to this traditional stuff. Easier, looks better in my opinion, and also eliminates having any issues with this one in the future. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this in the car and see how it looks. There's this gasket on the old one. Just transfer it over. It's gonna help to seal everything there so you don't get any water, any leaks in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and slide this in. without the master cylinder because it's going to give me the most space. Line up the hose, slide it in, and I'll show you guys how it looks once I put it in. So I got it in. That's how it looks, sitting right there. Looks right at home. And then let me show you guys on the inside how it looks. So you can see it comes through right there. You can see some of the bolts. I gotta see the one at the top right there. This one I gotta put on the bracket for the clutch. But yeah, those are the 4 nuts that you gotta screw in. Then you gotta put on the little bracket that I modified so it could go into the brake pedal. I got the master. I'm just gonna put it on there. Let's just see how it looks. So that's basically how it's gonna look. Don't mind these wires. If you watched the last video, you know I'm doing a wire tuck. This side I already finished. I got the wires that come in here. I got them tucked up under the fender. So I'm doing the same thing to this side. But yeah, so it looks good aesthetically. It looks better than the big hydro boost there. So now I'm gonna have to figure out how I'm gonna run the brake lines. I have an idea in my head, but I'm gonna figure that out. So actually the booster, I don't think I need to take the booster back out, so I'm gonna go ahead and put the nuts on the inside and bolt the booster in. Okay, so got it bolted in, got all 4 nuts on there. Was able to use the factory hardware. 1, 2, 3, 4. Also got the pin in the pedal. Brake switch working the way it should. Pedal working. So everything there is good. That's the easy part. Pedal pretty much same position it was before. And see how it looks outside. The master is not bolted, so it's in. Master is here. I'm not going to bolt the master on yet because I'm still trying to decide if I'm going to paint it black or leave it. And then I'm going to have to figure out the lines. But yeah, so booster is in, and I'll jump back in on what I decide to do next. Alright, so we back. It's been about a week or so from the last clip you guys saw when I was putting in the booster. Went ahead and got some parts, got some fittings, kind of finally decided what I was going to do as far as running the lines and stuff. So I had to get a double flaring tool for the brake line. I had a single, but I had to get a double. I don't want to double flare the lines. Had to get a pipe bender. Got this fitting from CHASEBAY. This fitting I'm going to use for the rear brake lines. I'm going to connect the 2 rear brake lines and then go into 1. From the 1, this is 3AN, and then this is M10 by 1. So I'm going to go from the 2 rear to 1 3AN to this line. That's what this steel braided brake line is for. From this line, we're going to go into the proportioning valve, and then from the proportioning valve, going to go to the master. So for the rear, that's going to set up. I'm going to have to make a line from the master to the proportioning valve. For the front, I got this union. I painted it black. I painted this black too. This came silver, but I painted it black. So for the union, we're going to go from the passenger side. I'm gonna have to make a line from the passenger side to come over to the driver's side, go into this union. Driver's side, I think I'm gonna use the existing line for the driver's side, go into this union, and then from here to the master. So shouldn't be too complicated. I'm gonna jump in, start cutting some lines, making some lines, and see how everything turn out. For all the parts, again, I'm gonna put that in the description, so if you guys want, you could grab the same parts. This is the brake line, this is the WILWOOD proportioning valve, this is, what was this? This was this fitting that I had got. This is M10 to M10 brake line. I'm not sure if I'm gonna use this one yet. Haven't decided. Probably won't use this. I was gonna use this to go directly to the master like this, so that way I don't have to make a line. But I'll see how it looks. Depending on how it looks, I may or may not use this fit in here. All right. So this is the union for the rear. Two brake lines coming from the rear going into a union, and then they go along the firewall over to the driver's side. So my plan is to eliminate this union in the middle, add this CHASEBAY right here, kind of like, hard to see, but add this CHASEBAY right here, kind of like this, and then from this brake line over to the driver's side. So I'm going to go ahead and take that unit off and just leave the two lines and jump back in. So we got the line out, took it out from here, and we have it right there. So as you can see, union, and then it went over to the driver's side. So we're gonna get rid of that, and the idea now is to add this into the two lines there, and then have one line going over to the driver's side. I also believe my calculations might be off, because I think that might be a little bit short. Got a little man out here already in training to be a mechanic. So I got this 48 inches. I'm gonna see, it might be short. Might have to get a bigger one, a longer one. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on and see how it looks. All right, so this is what we're looking like right here. You got the two lines coming from the rear going into the union. I ended up using back that union, and then I made two brake lines, not very long, going to the CHASEBAY union right here. So you can see that, two lines going into that, and then the two lines here. The one for the front, I used the same line, so that's going across also, and then I added the 3AN brake line that I had here to the CHASEBAY union. So going across, I only have two lines for the passenger front, and then this one to the union. On this, I'm gonna put some black heat shielding over it so it blends in. So then that goes over. Let's see what we're looking like. I did end up spraying the master, so the master is black. So we got this line coming here. Once I finish, I'm gonna tie strap it up and put the heat shield on there so it blends in. So we got that coming here, and that goes to the proportioning valve, which I mounted right here. Looks pretty clean. And then from the proportioning valve straight into the master. So that's the rear. So it's from the master, proportioning valve to the 3AN line. 3AN line to the CHASEBAY union, and then from the CHASEBAY union, two lines to the rear. That actually was pretty simple. The only hard part is making the brake lines, making the flare. That was a pain in the ass. I got the cheaper tool because I'm not gonna use that tool very often, so I opted to just get the cheaper one instead of spending like $300 for something I'm not gonna use. And to be honest, the cheap one was a headache to get the flares perfect. But yeah, so for the front, what I did is, so I'm using the original brake line that came from the passenger side. That line is pretty flexible, so I was able to massage it a little bit. So I got it going here, coming under here, and going right there. You guys see, going right there to a union. Same thing with the front for the driver's side. So the driver's side comes up here, and I have that going into the same union right there, and then from that union straight into the master. So I didn't have to make any additional brake lines for the front. I was able to use the stock lines into a union, and then from the union to the master. So that worked out pretty good. So yeah, this is what we're looking like. We got the booster there, the master, we got the lines, proportioning valve, Everything right there. I did also change the caliper colors. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that. LS400 calipers, they were what color were they? They were gold before, so I ended up going yellow. Also got some EBC brake rotors drilled and slotted. They're not fully drilled, they're just dimples. Drill rotors are not the best, so these are work fine. But yeah, also got the StopTech stainless lines for the front. So we're coming along. Suspension is done, as you guys saw in the last video, and then brakes is pretty much done. I already bleed the system, check for leaks. There's no leaks. Everything is looking good. StopTech stainless lines here with the yellow caliper. I did the caliper yellow on the rear also. Stock rotors for now. I might upgrade them in the future, but for right now they're gonna stay as they are. Stock line also gonna upgrade that in the future. So yeah, overall it wasn't too bad doing the booster delete. Again, for me, the hardest part and the most frustrating part was flaring the lines, and a big contribution to that is just because I believe I got the cheaper tool, the one from Amazon. If I had gotten one like a more expensive one, it probably would have been a lot easier. But like I said, I didn't want to spend 300 bucks on one that I'm not going to use in a couple of years. I don't do brake lines pretty often, so I opted to get a cheaper one, and I paid for that and the headache that I had. The pipe bender worked perfect that I got. That one was from Amazon also. That worked perfect, and everything else worked good. Master, booster, everything is in. I gotta add a vacuum line here to the bottom of the manifold for the booster. Not a big deal, and that's pretty much done. So car should be back on the road soon. If you have any questions, again, I'm going to link all the parts that I use in the description for this. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them below. Like the video, and see you on the next one. Have a good day. Haven't started it up in a little while, so before we go, let's go ahead and get a cold start. Find the fuel system. And the battery's dead. Stand by. Alright, let's try that again.